Good morning, beautiful souls. It's Anna T. Brooks. Hi. Hello. Oh my gosh. It has been a little while since I've been on live here, and this is very, very exciting. So, taking a moment just to ground into this and to just enjoy this because I've been so looking forward to having this conversation with you. So say hello if you're jumping on. If this is your first time catching one of my lives, please say hello. I love to meet you. I love to connect with you. This is my moon in Gemini. For those who understand anything about astrology, connection is probably my number one reason for everything I do. So if you are new, please say hello. Please introduce yourself. And if you are a regular, also please say hello. You know I love you and I love to hear from you. If you love anything that we talk about in this conversation, please hit the love button. I love to see your little faces pop up for me. So yes. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to quickly just share this over. I'll give you guys a second if you're settling in. And if you are jumping on, say hey. Let me know how you're going. Let me know how you are feeling, what is happening. Okay. Perfect. Whew. So, I love connecting back with you guys, touching base, seeing where everyone is at, obviously. And I have something really, really exciting to talk about today, something that has been brewing and that has been really just, what's the word? It's been developing over some time now. And it's really the understanding, I guess, behind Soul Journey that I wanted to explain, which is I've shared so many different aspects, obviously, of what it is, of what this 6-month container is. But one thing I haven't shared to the extent that I'm going to today is I guess why it was created in the first place, apart from that it was just downloaded to me, that it was something that came through me and was meant to be birthed the way that it has been. Aside from that, it was a culmination of years and years and years of 3 specific things that they just were missing. They were the things that I was searching for, right? This is the stuff that I wanted. This is what I wanted from my coaches, my mentors, what was being offered to me. And ultimately, I couldn't find it. I found my way through it. Obviously, I found the avenues that I've gone through to get to where I am, but I never found this. And ultimately, I know now that was because I was meant to create it. And what happened with Soul Journey and when it came through is it really became the journey of a lifetime that is compressed into 6 months. And the reason I don't say that lightly, right? Because that's a big call, right? To say that it's a journey of a lifetime compressed into 6 months. But it really is. That's essentially what came through. And this is something that hasn't even, it's been a couple of years in the works with Soul Journey already up and running. And it wasn't its slogan from the beginning. It had definitely a different idea of what it was meant to be. But coming to that realization now as Soul Journey develops and grows and evolves on its own as well. And you'll understand that if you've ever gone through to see, what it is an evolution. It's something that every single person that takes part, your unique journey evolves Soul Journey as well. And it shows and it impacts how it then develops in the future. And this is kind of where it's come to. And it's really become a realization that this is a journey of a lifetime that for some of us, we do go through. And we go through a journey our whole life anyway of growth and development. But this is truly a place where within 6 months, you have gone through what anyone else would consider a journey of a lifetime, right? And there was 3 things that when I started off, when I was starting out and as I was developing through my journey, there was really 3 things that I just couldn't find in a consistent way and that I could not find in one container, right? And so that first thing was personalization. I really wanted to create a container that was personalized to the person, right? What I was searching for was something that was personalized to me and not someone else's journey. So often I would fall in love with a particular coach or mentor because of everything they stood for and everything they'd accomplished, and I was really inspired and I was really motivated. But ultimately, going through their coaching program, going through their process, what ended up happening was I got to walk through their journey. I got to walk through their way of going through things, what they learned, what they've developed, how their journey has evolved. And whilst that has so many benefits, and especially if they resonate with me, they had so many benefits, ultimately it wasn't personalized to me because it was still me walking the footsteps of someone else's journey. And so I was seeking somewhere where I could truly just immerse myself in my own journey, someone who would be able to guide me into myself, someone who would be able to actually take me through the steps and take me and guide me and facilitate me into seeing parts of myself and how I'm meant to evolve, right? Not how they've done it, not the steps that they took necessarily, although of course your coach is always going to share, things that have worked from their experience and from their clients' experiences and everything as well. But there's a difference between you signing up to walk someone else's journey and you signing up to go on your own soul journey. And that was what I was really seeking. I was like over and over just working with another coach, another person, because I'm like, oh no, it's going to be this one. It's going to be this particular strategy. It's going to be this particular belief set and, this process that's going to work for me. And what I managed to gather was a ton of data, a ton of support, a ton of experience in all these different facets and all these different strategies. And ultimately, it took me to the point where I realized, holy shit, I was never meant to just learn one of these strategies as my way of my journey. I was meant to actually take all of this on board, see what works, see what doesn't, but ultimately I needed to go through and figure out what is actually my journey, what is actually my process, what is actually designed and created purely for me. And so, it was very much, when I got to that evolution, it was about discovering, my path is unique. It is personalized. And so when I look back on Soul Journey and how it came to be, it's like, well, that's exactly what happened, right? That's exactly what it ultimately ended up being, is that every single person who goes through Soul Journey, it is personalized. There is, whilst we have, obviously, because I love structure, whilst we have, the layout of what's included, what's involved, kind of a rough layout of how it'll work, because of course we need to have some sort of a structure in place to hold the container, right? Whilst that is all in place, really the journey is completely guided by the individual. It's completely personalized. There's a reason that I don't work with more than a few people in this container at a time, because I am involved in that person's container. It takes my energy, it takes my intuition, it takes my commitment and my connection with that person, right, to actually evolve the container. And so I can't have my energy split too much, right? And that was something that I was really seeking. That was something that I was really wanting to find, is where can I feel like this is personalized to me, this is unique to me. I'm not just going through somebody else's journey. I'm actually getting to discover what is mine. And, whilst the layout is obviously, it's quite unique in the sense that you have, your time with me, you have your time with the expansion artists that you work with, you have your time on your own as well, and you have the sessions and everything in between, as well as the extra video trainings that you have. Whilst that's all included in there, it's all very self-guided, and obviously, we work together to figure out what is your best strategy. And that's another thing that you get to learn, which is so incredible, because I lacked this for years, is actually discovering, okay, so how do I work best? How do I actually work best? How do I learn best? What kind of coaching situation do I desire to be in to get the most out of it? Oh, I just saw a love heart bubble, but I missed the face. If you're there, say hello, because I missed your face. Oh, beautiful. I've got my other phone here because I have to do that to be able to share it. So I see it was Amberly. Hey, lovely. So whilst it's all, it's obviously all structured and you have that, it is completely guided by us in how it's going to evolve, in how it's actually going to go. And that's what I was saying, that you get to actually learn how you operate best, so that moving forward, you get to actually discover, okay, well, when I do want to work with somebody else, when I do want to get some support, what do I need to look for so that I know I'm actually getting what I need, right? So that I know that I'm not just going and jumping into this because it sounds amazing and because the person's journey is amazing and I'm inspired by them and I want what they have, which is a lot of the energy that I came from early on, but rather, oh, okay, I know that this person is going to see me. I know what I require for me to be in my best energy, for me to work in my best energy, and for me to get the results I want, because I know myself at that level. And from that point, it's like, whoever I work with, I'm going to get everything I need. It's a no-brainer, right? And that's one of the biggest gifts that I was searching for. That was what I wanted, and it was one of the biggest gifts with Soul Journey that came through, is that it truly is, you get that personalized time and that personalized experience of getting to know yourself, where moving forward, you are never the same again. You know yourself so deeply, you trust yourself so deeply that you know whatever choice you make moving forward is going to be the right one for you, which is something that, I lacked after working with so many different people, and I would get so many different experiences and so many different takeaways, and sometimes it would be amazing and I'd have great, success, and then other times it wouldn't work. But ultimately it kept coming back to, why can't this stick for me? Why can't this work for me? Why do I just keep following other people's journeys and expecting it that one day it's just going to click and I'm going to be, that's going to work perfectly for me, when really it's not how we operate. We are so unique. Whilst we are all connected and whilst we all have so much similarity and we are all one, we are here in this human experience so differently and experiencing life so differently. And to have, the space to be able to actually be, a container, to have it be completely personalized, completely about you, shut away your coach's journey and what they think and what's worked for them, but for them to actually be able to see you and pull out of you the best of you, that was a space that I wanted to be in and that I ultimately had to create, because whilst I worked with amazing coaches that were able to guide me through all these different facets, and some of them obviously, as you would know with with Soul Journey, you get to work with some of the absolute best that I have worked with, because I honor them so much for what they did to me, right? And how they actually facilitated me in my growth and my expansion. But ultimately, they were the ones that, like me, understood that this is about me. This is a journey that I have to go through, and they are there to facilitate that. They are not there to create another version of themselves. And unfortunately, in the world, there was a lot of that. Right? And it's that process of getting to the point where you are so guided by your soul, by your inner knowing, that you are the star, right? The Soul Journey program, the Soul Journey container, you're the star. Not me, not the expansion artists, not everything else that's going on in there, not all the processes you're going through, not all the transformations and everything that we're helping facilitate. You are the star. You are the one guiding this, and you are the one that ultimately at the end is a completely different person, right? So that's the first thing. That was the first thing that I couldn't find, and so ultimately I had to create. The second thing is context, right? And if you're finding this valuable, I'd love, if you feel like sharing it, please go ahead and share this, or just hit some love as well. I always love to see your love bubbles pop up. So the second thing is context, right? And this is something as well that I found lacking for so long, because I didn't understand the power of it or the importance of it. And it came from a space of not jumping in to learn from someone who is just so far ahead of where I was, right? Jumping in for me, for example, in business coaching, I would jump in to work with people who are making like 100K a month when I wasn't even making 10K. I wasn't even making 5K, not even 2K. And what was lacking, and this is, goes back to point one about personalization, that there was no personalization in those programs as well. But more importantly, doing that kind of stuff and working so closely following that coach's journey, there was no context for how they got there. I was kind of just thrown in of like, okay, so here's, what I've learned. I'm going to take you through it so you can shortcut it, so you don't have to go through all of the challenges, so you don't have to go through all of the stumbling blocks. But there is an energetic calibration that happens between where you are now and where you want to be, between the place you are right now and the goal that you want to achieve. There is an energetic calibration that happens in that space. There is an energetic calibration between not even 2K a month to 100K a month. There is an energetic calibration between single AF to loved up and amazing relationship for 11 years like me, right? There is, hello, thank you for the love bubbles. There is an energetic recalibration that happens. Hey, Scott, hey. And that was what was missing, right? You can't just jump into something and go, well, here are the steps, follow the steps, and you will get the same results. Okay, 1 in like 10,000 people that will work for, because that person just happens to be energetically so aligned with that person that it will work for them, right? For everybody else, not so much. For everybody else who is not that exact energetic alignment and cannot get into that energetic alignment immediately, it just doesn't work. There's just not that context. There's not that understanding of all of the trials and the tribulations that that person went through, all of the struggles, all of the failures, all of the learning curves, all of those steps along the way that at the time sucked and that at the time the person didn't enjoy and now wants to fast track it for everybody else because they're coming from the best possible intention, right? There's no questioning. They definitely want to see other people succeed. But they went through all of that. And that is what recalibrated their energy to where they are now. That is what has actually shifted them to there. And entering all of these containers where there was none of that context, it was just, let me shortcut it for you. Let me give you all of the steps. Let me give you what I've learned. Yo, Scott. Jumping into that without that lack of context, it's like, it just doesn't click. It just doesn't work, right? To grow your context, to grow your expansion, to really accelerate your transformation, you need to go through that recalibration. You need that context. This probably is an unpopular opinion, but you need to go through some challenges. For, like I said, for those 1 in 10,000 people that just following somebody else's strategy will work, awesome. But in my experience, I wasn't that person. And most of the people that are left over are not that person. And in that scenario, it's very frustrating. It's very, it's soul crushing. It's really, really diminishing to feel like, why isn't this working for me? Why is it working for this other person? Why can't I seem to get this? And, you know, everybody else, or it feels like everybody else is getting it when really, in reality, pretty much no one else is getting it. It's just nobody else is talking about it because nobody wants to voice up to the fact that they're, you know, failing or sucking at something, right? But it feels like it's just you. And it feels like that it's absolutely soul crushing, when really what's happening is there was no context. There was no build up. There was no understanding of where has this come from? What journey do you need to go on to recalibrate here as well, right? And this is where, for me, you know, in Soul Journey, it became very, very clear. I wanted to bring in the expansion artists, so my 6 beautiful mentors, coaches, brothers, sisters, you know, lifelong friends, into this space, because they were a big part of the areas that I got to grow into, that I got to expand into, and I wanted others to be able to access that. I wanted others to be able to also have that experience on their own journey, on their own terms, right? Working with people who, like I said in point number 1, personalize the experience to you. It's not about what, you know, they do. They're not going to be like, okay, well, this is what we're going to go through and this is what you're going to get and this is going to be your result and we're just going to follow the steps and here we go. No. Just like working with me, every single one of the expansion artists, what you go through is completely personalized to you. And that's the importance there, because there's no point giving you my context. There's no point me going, well, here's my journey. Here's what all these people taught me. And so now you're going to go through and you're just going to become another me. Ta-da! That's fucking useless. That's absolutely useless to you. And this is coming from someone who is an amazing imitator at everyone, right? I have the gift to be able to basically become anybody else that I want to, right? It's something that I tune into people's energy very easily, and I tune into their motivations, their everything. This is what makes me a great coach, but also when I didn't know what I was doing and when I was trying to figure out my way, it made it very easy for me to just copy somebody else because I could actually energetically align to that person, right? But the problem was ultimately that wasn't actually me. I could align my energy to there, but it was still against me. It was still against my truth and my soul, right? And so this is the importance of that context, that importance of actually having somebody hold you in that growth and in that evolution, and to have the support around you to realize, well, what are the steps you need to go through? What are the journey, the healing, right? Like Scott said, it's the healing. What do you need to go through to get you to where you want to go, right? What do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? What do you get to call in and step into? All of that is really, really personal. That's not something that a coach can tell you, well, I healed this and I worked through this, so therefore if we do this with you, that's going to fix it. Sometimes it might, and that's awesome. But a lot of the time, it's so much more personal than that. And it's so much, and that context is really, really necessary to understand what actually gets to happen to get to this point, right? And one of the things that I love, and and I know that so many, like me, is I love to learn. I love to discover. I love to learn more about myself and to develop and to grow. And that means that I will end up working with a lot of different people in a lot of different fields and getting a lot of different experiences and a lot of different growth and all of this kind of stuff. And ultimately just, feeling into what does this help me evolve? How does this move me forward? How is this personalized to me? And that's a big part of the reason that, in Soul Journey, I knew that this wasn't just going to be something that I brought to you guys, that this wasn't just going to be just you and me one-on-one. That's obviously the crux of it, or like the main point of it. But just as much as that is, the 6 expansion artists that you work with is just as crucial to it, because I am not a one-woman show. I was not created all on my own. I have so much support. I have so much love. I've had so much growth, so many investments, so much transformation at the hands and at the souls and the minds of some amazing people. And I don't for a second take that for granted or, try to pretend as if it was all me the whole way through. It was my soul the whole way through. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Just as it is yours. But we are not one person shows, right? We are all always a culmination of everyone around us and everyone who impacts us. And having that bigger context, the more support that you have, the more challenges, the more growth, that all expands you, that all transforms you. And that's such a bigger, more powerful context than just, jumping in, gonna learn this one coach's strategy and that's it. And whatever they say, that's what I'm gonna do, right? It's constricting, right? It's little. You want to have that big context of like, this is all of me. I get to be all of me. I get to be this person, and I get to be fun-loving and goofy and stupid and like that kind of stuff. And I get to be really serious and really regal and really fancy, and I get to be all of it. I get to be all of it, and you get to be all of it. And that's the difference of having a context that can hold all of that, right? So that's the second thing that that I was really searching for, and that ultimately I just had to create. And the third thing, and this, oh my gosh, this was huge. This was something that I didn't even fully realize was such an issue until long after Soul Journey had started, and I'd had the first people coming through Soul Journey. But holy shit, the absolute absence of this in my life and how much I was searching for it was mind-blowing. And that is a container that could hold me in the void. What the fuck's the void, Anna? The void is the space between what has been and what will be. The void is the space between what has been and what will be. And this is an area that honestly I don't even see people talk about this. I don't even see people address this. And if they do, it's very glossed over, right? It's very like surface level stuff. But this is where the real work happens. This is where, if you've ever worked in a particular container, and I know I've gone through this myself, where it is perfectly timed, like it is 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks. And it is perfectly timed and contained so that you go through a particular process and a particular journey, and then it ends at a particular time and it is done. And when this happens, what you are left with is the void. That is where the person is, they've just gone through all of this stuff, they've gone through all of these transformations, maybe they've had some breakthroughs, all of these things have happened, and they're on a high and it's all really, really exciting and they feel really excited, and then they're left hanging, and they're left hanging in the void. And the void is that place where you've gone through all of this stuff, you've transformed all of these things, but the new things haven't landed yet. And so where you're left is kind of feeling empty. You're kind of feeling like, holy shit, where am I right now? What just happened? Did I mean to do all of this? Where am I? Am I actually worse off right now? I don't know. The void it's a really hard place, honestly, even for coaches to hold for themselves, let alone to hold someone else through it. And I'll explain to you why this is really hard. Because the void is the part where you doubt yourself. The void is the part where you doubt your coach. The void is the part where you go, I don't know if this is working. I've done all these things. I've changed all these things. And, I ended this relationship because it was bad. And I raised my prices on my coaching because I thought that was the good thing to do. But really, all I have now is I have no friends. All the people that were toxic have left now. And so I have no friends. And now I have no relationship. And now I have no clients because all my old clients can't afford my new rates. And so now I'm like, what's going on, right? This is the void. The void is really fucking uncomfortable because you're doubting yourself, you're doubting your coach, you're doubting the processes, you're doubting your whole existence, and you're definitely doubting your decisions up to that point, right? That's what's happening in the void. And with this, like I said, most coaches struggle to hold themselves in their own voids, let alone to be able to walk someone else through it, because it is very confronting to have someone come to you as a coach on the phone and say, I don't know, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel lost. And you've just gone through so much, and they've gone through so many transformations, and they've had so many ahas and so many breakthroughs, and it's been such a high and it's been amazing. And this is usually where the container ends. And instead, I needed someone who would be able to hold me in that next moment. I needed someone to be able to hold me when I had gone through so much acceleration in my energetic state, in my recalibration to my goals, that I had just fast forwarded so much that I needed that void needed to be there for me to catch up. And I needed someone to be able to hold me in that and actually support me through it and facilitate me and give me the tools to work through it, rather than try and run away from me because it's uncomfortable, because I don't want to feel like I'm failing you, right? And that's what I mean by the void. It's that space between what has been and what will be. It's, when you've set boundaries and you've realized how toxic and the patterns that you're running in your friendships, and that you have no boundaries, and you suddenly set them and you align to them, and suddenly all these friends start to disappear because they were just happy using you when you had no boundaries, but that doesn't work for them anymore when you do, and you're suddenly alone, and those new friends haven't started to come through yet. Or you leave the relationship that you realize is not going to be where you want to be moving forward, and you make that choice, but then you're alone, and that new person hasn't arrived, and maybe they're not arriving this week or next month or next year. How long are you going to be able to sit in that void? You're a coach of any kind. You're a service person of any kind. You raise your prices. Some clients fall off. Your new audience is still recalibrating to you. There's that void of, where are they? Have I just fucked everything up? Am I never going to get a client again now? It's a really, really uncomfortable space to be in. And I didn't find, no, that's not true. I definitely found coaches who were able to hold me in that void. And that was the greatest gift. Because for the time that I didn't find this, I just kept yo-yoing. I just kept going through a high of like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've done all the things, and then crumbling and not understanding why. When I finally found the coaches who understood this and who actually were experienced enough and embodied enough to hold that space for me, holy shit did I learn so much from them. And not only that, but I learned the power of someone who can hold that, because it's very rare. It is very rare. Like I said, some people will talk about this, and it's usually very, very shallow, very surface level. It's kind of just glossed over. The truth is, it is very, very uncomfortable, and it is very necessary, because we all go through it, right? Let me know if you've ever gone through a period of time where you've had a massive amount of growth, and then just because so much has changed, you're kind of left feeling like, oh my God, it's all this stuff that used to be here is gone, but the new stuff hasn't arrived yet. Wait, is this okay? Am I allowed to do this? Oh my God, have I stuffed it all up, right? We have all been there. And often, if we're just surrounded by other people, or we completely alone at that point, we're going to second guess ourselves. We're going to doubt ourselves. We're not going to have somebody who can hold us in that and say, this is the void. This is that moment in between. This is where you've let go of what no longer resonates, and what does is on its way, but you've got to hold that void for now. And the ability to do that is crucial, because the breakthrough, the true breakthrough, comes after that. It's not in that amazing, yes, breakthrough, I just shifted this, I just had the biggest realization, oh my God, everything's going to be so different from now on. That's like the glossy, pretty little breakthrough that you see. That's not the real one. The real one comes after the void. Once that's been integrated, once that's been shifted, that's when you go from, oh my God, I'm so powerful, I've set boundaries, yes, I'm going to be a different person, to I set boundaries. I am a different person. I don't care if you leave. I'm sad to see you go, and I honor you for your choice. That is the difference. Do you feel the energetic difference between, oh my God, I'm so powerful, yes, screw it, I'm going to put boundaries in place, this person can't screw with me anymore, I'm not going to stand for this anymore, yes, I deserve this, and I deserve this. I deserve, and I am worthy of having firm boundaries in my life. And that breakthrough comes on the other end of the void. But you've got to make it through that one first. And like I said, in a coaching container, this is uncomfortable, because it can stretch out. It can be a few weeks. It can be a couple of months, right? Who knows? Every single person's journey is different. But you've got to be able to hold that person in that. And that, like I said, for the longest time, I wasn't able to find anyone to do that. And that was something that when Soul Journey came through, became very clear was going to be a point of difference, because in this, it's 6 months. It's 6 months of your life. It is not a short, in and out kind of thing. You have a lot of time to go through a lot of breakthroughs, sit in a lot of voids, and then truly get to that embodiment transformational stage where the shifts and the changes have actually landed, not just happened to you, but happened through you, right? And that is such a difference, because that's where, I check back in with my clients who have done, Soul Journey months and even a year on, and they are just expanding continuously at such a rapid rate because of that, because of their understanding, because of their ability to now also hold themselves in the void. When they come across things now without, me as their coach, or without another coach at the time, they know what's going on. They know how to sit with that. They know how to process that. They don't just fall apart and look for the next quick hit to make themselves feel better, right? And that's what we often do, is when it crumbles, we just go, okay, well, I'm just going to fix it. I just got to find something else. I've just got to, get back into it. We don't want to sit with that uncomfortableness. And if we don't have somebody there who can actually point to us and say, no, this is the moment. This is where the work happens. This is actually the breakthrough you're looking for. but it just feels so uncomfortable, you don't want to sit in it. And that's the magic, right? That's the magic. Is there's going to be a lot of amazing things, and there's going to be a lot of amazing changes, and ultimately it is all about that. But the journey and the evolution and that soul journey that you go on is really mastering yourself. It's mastering your strengths. It's understanding your weaknesses and what they actually mean for you, and how to actually navigate them and how to love them, right? There is so much about us that we write off. There is so much about us that we think this makes me a bad person, or this is a weakness, this shouldn't be seen, or I should work on this. And to some degree, sure, we can always work on stuff, but there is so much about us that is just looking to be loved, because it is actually so powerful and it is such a superpower to us. But when we're judging it, or when we don't want to face it, or when we just can't sit in that void, we're never going to realize that. We're never going to come to that realization if every time we drop into a void, we just jump straight back out because we're too scared to be there, right? So that's it. I think I've just downloaded everything that had to come out. And you know, this is exactly what it has been. This is exactly why Soul Journey came to be, the journey of a lifetime compressed into 6 months, because so much of what you go through is stuff that people will literally take years and decades to go through on their own, or another timeline, or in another process. And Soul Journey, because it is completely personalized to you, you get to build out your own context, your own expansion, your own journey. Because of that, it just happens so much faster. And even the voids happen and you move through them so much faster. They will still feel like forever. Like even a couple of days in a void, if you've ever been there, will feel like forever, right? I have hours where suddenly I drop into the void and it feels like forever, right? That's the power of it. But you will learn to recognize it, and you will learn to process it, and you will learn to move through it, so you actually get to the next stage in a way that feels amazing for you, in a way that works for you, not in somebody else's methodology or someone else's strategy, but in a way that feels so aligned to you that the next time it comes up, it's almost like natural for you to go, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. I know what I need to give myself in this moment. I know how I'm going to move through this. I can breathe. I can trust this. I don't need to jump out. I'm safe, right? And that having those tools and those processes in your arsenal moving forward, that is the journey of a lifetime. And that's where it is. So let me know if you have any questions. I know I've just kind of talked straight for, I don't even know how long. I can't see how long we've been on live, but if you have any questions, please pop them in. If Soul Journey is something you'd like to look into and you want to, get a bit more information, please just send me a private message and I'll send you the link. You can see it; it's on my profile as well. It's just on the cover photo and all the links in there. It's very easy to find. So you can definitely have a bit of a read through of what's included, because I'm not going to go through all of that on this live. I really just wanted to share really why it was created and why it was just, it's become ultimately all the things that I was looking for that I couldn't find, or at least not in one container, and definitely not in the space, of what Soul Journey has become. So if this is feeling exciting, inspired, aligned for you, I would love to hear from you. I would love to chat with you and see if this is a good fit for you. And and if not, thank you for being here. This is a beautiful conversation that I love to have, and that especially, what I've talked about is so important in so many different contexts, in so many different avenues. If you feel like this is of value, please go ahead. I'd love for you to share the live, and let's see if we can help some other people, even if it's just, if there's something about what I've shared today that just hits home, that goes, yeah, you know what, I do need to work in a bigger context of what I want to create. I do need to stop making it so small and so tiny of like, this is where I want to go and this is how I'm going to get there, or something about, personalization, and really understanding that who you're working with, who you're going through life with, is a unique individual. It's not a number. And there's just no reason to make it seem that way, because you get the most out of it and you get the most connection, which, as you know, for me is my number one thing. The connection that we get is always from the one-on-one, is always from that effort that we put in. So yeah, yes, that's it. I'm going to leave it there, because otherwise I'm just going to keep rambling. And yeah, thank you so much for jumping on, Scott and Cheyenne. It's so beautiful to see you. And Amberly, thank you. And yeah, I'll see you guys really, really soon. Mwah.